We are back on Inside Politics. Today our guest is Nashville Vice Mayor Jim Shulman. Mayor Shulman, one of the major things that the council does is confirm or not confirm nominations that the mayor makes to the hundreds of boards and commissions that people serve on a volunteer basis in Nashville. One of the big ones right now is the Fair Board. There are 2 vacant seats there. Something fell apart on that process. The mayor has a certain amount of time to make those appointments. He didn't make one. He tried to make one in one case, couldn't find one he thought he could pass. He lost his chance to do that. You've now had 2 chances to fill that, haven't been able to do it. Council members want a different kind of diversity than apparently you have been nominating. Is that, we also learned as a part of this, there's quite a backlog of others that have not been appointed.
Right.
Were you ready for that? Is that problem now been solved?
Hopefully it's been solved. We have been cleaning up, trying to catch back up and make sure that we've got everything taken care of. At some point when I knew I had some coming from the mayor, I didn't know I had that many. And so
they were nice when we were confirming 17, 18 people.
So, you know, when you get a backlog like that, all of a sudden you have to move fairly quickly. So we had the list, but the list, let me put it this way, we had one list and then we went back and checked and then there were more being added to the list. It's like, you know, there are so many boards and commissions in Nashville. We want to pick good people, but we need to know. We need to know.
Are you arranging your staff to make sure they stay in touch with the mayor's office, and so you see these coming, that you're going to have some more appointments to make that maybe you didn't know you were going to have to make?
So our clerk, Metropolitan Clerk, tries to keep up with it. I've got part of my staff, and we don't have a big staff, as you know, with the council, but I've got a member of my staff that's keeping an eye on it. The mayor's office, the person who was in charge of the boards and commissions, the picks, recently resigned. So now we have somebody new doing it. And I know they've gone through a couple of different people in that role.
Are you ready to make another appointment or attempt an appointment to the I think there are at least 2 seats on the Fair Board. I guess you have both of them now.
Only have one.
I have one. Oh, the one.
I have one, and the mayor has one.
The one you have, are you now ready? The council members seem to want a Hispanic in that. You have been nominating, all these people are highly qualified,
right?
But that you've been nominating African Americans. So when are you sending your next one up there?
Yeah. So what I'll say about the pick is that you can't designate that it has to be. It needs to be diverse. Because at one point we have a 5-member Fair Board, and 4 members were white, and the vacant seat was empty. I was asked to pick a minority, and that's what I did. We don't. We want people who want to serve and who are capable. And I will say, for the record, that the 2 people that I selected were both qualified, extremely qualified to serve.
One of the issues that has made this Fair Board appointment even more important is that the major renovation and NASCAR coming back
right.
to the Fairground Speedway is on the table once that's done and ready to be sent out to that what will be a fully constituted board. Are we going to continue to have this problem where that board's not going to be fully filled?
Well, so. Once the council, and the way this works is that you had to have, excuse me, 21 votes to pick a member. Both my selections got 20 votes, so just needed one more. So the people voting at the time, the majority were for the selection, but they needed 21. They did not get it. Now we have 2 picks. So I was holding my pick after the second time. I really do not want to put anybody through that type of situation again where they get voted down for agreeing to serve in a voluntary board, particularly this board, which is very important.
One other issue about the fairgrounds that is becoming big in all this is that whatever agreement the mayor has tentatively come to with the folks from the Bristol Speedway to come in and do this, there have been requests by the media, and I understand requests from council members to see what the agreement is at this point. The mayor didn't say it was final, but they'd like to sort of know where we are. Apparently, the legal department and the mayor have refused to give to release that information. Have you asked for it? Are you concerned that information is not being made available at this point?
Yeah, I have not asked for it, but I would be concerned because people need to know. So, you know, we get lots of people who complain that we're not transparent. In order to make these decisions, particularly if eventually we're going to have to vote on this from the council standpoint, we need to see what the agreement is. In answer to the other question, hopefully soon we're going to have 2 nominees for the Fair Board. I'll have one and the mayor will have one. and we'll get the Fair Board back to its 5 members.
In its last meeting, the council approved a $564 million capital projects list. That's probably one of the largest in the history of Metro, maybe the largest ever. A lot of different road projects and other things in there. This comes just a couple of years after the state comptroller wanted to come down and take away Metro's pocketbook because they thought we were running everything too close to the line, too close to the vest in doing that, and I didn't really have the finances that we need. Is this a good time to take another $500 million in debt on for the city?
So this is a proposal from the mayor, and obviously the council amended some of it. What I would say is you have to be very careful. This country and even our city has a bad habit sometimes of forgetting where we once were. So it wasn't too long ago, as you just said, that we were in some financial trouble. And the comptroller's office was going to come down here and take over our budgeting process, basically. That was 2 or 3 years ago. That was not long ago. So the fact that we now have a property tax increase and we may have money and we've got a lot of federal money coming in, now's not necessarily the time to go spend it all. We need to make sure that we're carefully spending it so that we don't get in this bad situation again.
One of the projects that was funded was $50 million to help with the restoration on 2nd Avenue after the bombing down there last Christmas Day. The mayor announced right after the council did that, the mayor announced his first phase of what he'd like to do that. You've had a chance to see it. Do you think are you a little surprised how quickly and how well this process is going? Usually, even when something tragic like this happens, people get into a fight about how you're going to put it back.
Yeah, I like the idea. I think what he said was, with the tragedy, unfortunately we had the tragedy, but there's an opportunity to kind of redesign how that looks. And so I'm fine with that, and it moved fairly quickly. But I'd also say, Pat, that we're in these roles for a limited amount of time. They're not ours to keep, and so if you're going to make some decisions, you got to move pretty quickly.
Nashville Vice Mayor Jim Shulman is our guest on Inside Politics. Back to continue our conversation with the Vice Mayor after you watch these messages.